Hey there, listeners. Welcome back to Podcast Demastered. I'm here with Chelsea as always, and today we have a special Pride Month episode for you, and we're going to be talking about Heartstopper, which we have never talked about before on our podcast, which is crazy.
Yes.
Because Chelsea and I have been enjoying Heartstoppers like for forever.
Yes.
Along with our spouses as well. Which we should have had them on.
Yeah.
We should have left this episode up to them, huh?
Yeah, I feel like they're the ones who got us into it more.
I can absolutely say that Brandon got me into it. Brandon has been around with Heartstopper since Heartstopper first started. Way back in oh my gosh, when was that?
Because it originally started as a webcomic before it even
became
a TV show. Yes.
And I vaguely recall, when we first got together, I vaguely recall him, showing it to me. Where I was like, what are you reading? Because he read lots of webcomics and stuff. And he would just be like, oh, just this. And he would, show me his phone. I don't know what that is, but okay. But no, he's been reading it for forever. So when they announced, I remember when they announced the Netflix series, he exploded. And I was just like, what the heck? Why? And, well, I was... reintroduced, I suppose, to Heartstopper very quickly after that. Although I didn't read it for a long time. I was just waiting for the seasons to come out. Because I didn't want it to be spoiled in a way.
Yeah, that's fair.
But also I just vibed with the show so much. It wasn't until this last Christmas that I finally sat down to read all of them. Which I had bought them for Brandon, good lord, 2 years ago. Maybe more. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And then when Volume 5 came out, I kind of sneakily went and got that too. He didn't even know it was out. So that was a great present. Good job, me. But I did not read them myself until this last Christmas, and I read all 5 volumes in 24 hours, I think. Whoops.
Hey, worked
out.
Well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, they're not too terribly long. I just recently checked them all out from the library. I haven't read them all yet, but that is my plan to start reading that this week, which, from how quickly you said you read them, I don't think it's going to take me that long either.
There's not, it's not really that much text to read.
That's what I was going to say.
A lot of it is just pictures. It's a lot of storytelling through pictures with the occasional text. Now, as we get farther into the series, there's more, but especially at the start, It's very cute, it's just storytelling at its best, really, I think.
Yeah, I know, yeah, because I've been watching the show ever since it came out on Netflix, and yeah, Amy had been reading the webcomic for I don't know how long either, and introduced me to the show, and I was like, sure, let's give it a go, because honestly, I was like, if Amy's gushing about this now, then this must be pretty good, because we honestly need more positive LGBT content, because, let's be real, most of it is very dramatized movies with very depressing endings.
Well, and yes, absolutely. A lot of LGBTQ content focuses on the trauma and the drama surrounding it all.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not that, it's very, very sexualized.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for adult viewers, that's not an issue. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's crazy because Heartstopper is something that is for everybody.
Yes.
Literally everybody can get something out of Heartstopper, whether you're queer or not. But of course, it's focused on the queer community. And it's one of those things, the first time, this has been years now, but the first time I saw one of my middle schoolers with one of the Heartstopper books, it just clicked with me. I was just like, huh. And then after that, I saw them more out in the wild with my children in the school library. The school librarian had gotten 4 or 5 copies of each volume. And they were constantly in rotation. Yeah, it was crazy. And I was just and eventually, and I didn't say anything to any of the kids about them reading it because I didn't want them to feel like they were being targeted for reading that or anything. Mm-hmm. But eventually I did ask one of my girls, I see you're reading Heartstopper. What do you find interesting about that? How are you enjoying it? And immediately she just started crying. Mm. And I was just like, okay, you just told me everything I needed to know. Got you. You keep enjoying it. And I've had kids who've been reading it where they were like, can I leave it here with you? Because I can't take it home. Mm. Which is very, very saddening to hear. But just the amount of rotation I see with the series with the kids, especially, is crazy for me. Imagine if we had something like this growing up.
Yeah, it would be very, very different.
I mean,
Yeah, because in general, this is really just like specifically from my experience with just like the TV show, it is a very wholesome show with a lot of positivity. Now, it's not afraid to deal with like, some darker topics, more serious issues, but like our main characters like having such a stable, like good, like friendship foundation, having people they can rely on that they can just, communication. It's just seeing like healthy communication portrayed on TV is
bonkers.
very nice.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like we said too, like, because we've talked about like, previous like LGBTQ content is either just all straight, like dramatic, depressing, or very sexualized. Like this doesn't, like it has like a little bit of loosely like, because it deals with teenagers, but it's not focusing on one aspect of like, let's make everything sexualized or let's make everything depressing. It's let's look at the lighter side of life. And one thing that is super cool in this show is that it incorporates the artwork from
gosh.
Yes, from the webcomic.
It does
To further enhance like certain scenes, the feelings and stuff, and it helps give it almost like a little bit of like a, I don't know, kind of happy magical vibe to it, and it just makes it more heartwarming.
It does. You know, all of these extra little like animated graphical things that happen throughout the show are there to help the viewer sense like emotions and things like that, the characters' well-beings and things like that. It's so cute and I love it. Like, can I have that happen in real life to me, please?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh,
like seeing the leaves blow around.
Yes, that's exactly
stuff like that.
Like
those... oh my gosh,
yes.
I bought Brandon a mug that has the leaves like drifting on it, and he died. He loves that so much.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's great. But for listeners who aren't familiar with what the heck we're talking about and what is this story about, besides we're just saying wholesome wonderfulness that you need to go watch it. We can talk briefly about the story and about our main characters. Charlie is our main character, played by Joe Locke, who is the same Joe Locke we mentioned previously in our Agatha All Along episode. Very different character vibes, very different story.
Very, very, very different. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And so this story takes place in high school, technically, right? But it's like a British high school. And so so when they're going to primary school and I always cracked up at their maths class. Maths with an S. Oh my gosh. But you deal with him, and then he gets introduced to our other main character, Nick. And Nick is a year older than him, and they go to the same school, and they really hadn't crossed paths before. Nick's kind of the part of the popular kids. He plays rugby, and Charlie has had a past of being bullied and being like labeled as like the only gay person in the school.
Well, in like the school year previous to that, Charlie was outed, like without his consent, and it caused a lot of problems for Charlie and mental health and everything else. But yeah, bullying, and he felt like he was the only one because he was like ostracized for it in a way.
Yeah.
And coming into the new school year, like the current school year, he's, trying to find a better fit. He has friends. It's not like he, is completely alone. But, people going out of their way to bully him and stuff like that. He's just a boy who's trying his best.
Yeah. And then he's also dealing with this very toxic, secret relationship, and major quotes for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bad time. So essentially, like, when Charlie like has like a class next to like Nick, they kind of start up a friendship, and it explores more to being just friends. But we just see those daily life like school struggles mixed with like romance. Like, do they like each other? Do they don't? All the unanswered questions, because not only is this just because Charlie has been out and he is gay, but like Nick is a mystery. are they friends or are they more than friends?
Right,
Trying
because
to
Nick
read
is,
that.
for like on Nick's side of thing, like he's Charlie's friend and he really likes Charlie as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like he couldn't explain it, but they get along really well. They take to each other, and that's just kind of how it is. But as the series goes on, yeah, Nick realizes he starts to care for Charlie more, but he doesn't understand it because he's like, well, I'm not gay, so why
Mm-hmm.
would I have these kinds of feelings? And he comes to the conclusion that he must be bi.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and from there it kind of kicks off, and
Yeah, which is
yeah,
great to see positive bisexual representation in a
yes,
show.
it is.
Yes. But yeah, so as we said, like, yeah, it continues through the series with Nick and Charlie and all their friends and their friends' romances as well. And
Well, in that part specifically, like in the show, the books, they don't really comment a lot about Charlie and Nick's friends. When they
mm-hmm.
are very strongly plot relevant, sure. But really, like the books are not, they're about Nick and Charlie, and that's really it. But in the show, which I love this so much, they got to expand on
Mm.
every single other character in a million different ways. Where, like, you see Charlie and Nick's friends so rarely in the book that you're like, who is that? Like, what was their name? Because in the book, they're different. They're not the same people.
Yeah.
Like, Tao is the same, Elle is the same, but there isn't
I don't think there's an Isaac, right?
there isn't an Isaac. Isaac is kind of like two people put together.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird, but in the show, it's everything is a lot clearer and expanded upon. So like Tao and Elle's storyline, it's kind of there in the books, like
Mm-hmm.
sort of in only the backgroundiest of senses. But in the show, I mean, it's right up there. It's right up there with Nick and Charlie. It's along with Tara and Darcy, who I
Mm-hmm.
love. Oh my god!
Yes.
Because at first I was like, Darcy's really annoying. Like,
Yeah.
I love
She's a
Tara, but
lot, yeah.
Darcy is like that girlfriend. Like, oh my god, girl, calm down. But now I would kill for Darcy. It changes, like she changes, and you get to know her character better as the series goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love Tara and Darcy a lot.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's really great about the show is that, like, yes, the show is essentially about Nick and Charlie, but it's also really about their friends. And you can really get invested in their friends' relationships or just things going on in their lives. And it's really great for the show to be able to cut to them in those moments. Because I'm like, we haven't heard from these characters in a hot second. Let's go back and see what's happening with them and their drama or what's happening in their relationship. Or because a big thing that is part of this, because they're in high school, a lot of them are close to like going to university and stuff, and so it's big deal with dealing with like the relationships, but also like where are they going, where are they going to fit in, and so
Well,
there's a
like,
lot
and
of stuff
they
to
they
follow.
touch on so many aspects of this whole like leaving high school thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Nick and Charlie, with Charlie specifically, you have this big, like, what happens when Nick graduates?
Mm-hmm.
Which at first you're like, oh no, Charlie, oh god, how's he going to react? But then you get to the point like, it's actually not Charlie you need to worry about because Nick doesn't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
Nick, is he going to be able to handle himself without Charlie there, But
Mm-hmm.
then you have like Tara. Tara and Darcy aren't really having like an issue with being split up necessarily, but Tara's issue is just like, what am I going to do after I graduate? Like
Mm-hmm.
the expectations
Yes.
of she's talented, she's smart, she has all of these things that she could be. Is it her obligation to try to be everything? What does she want? I love that storyline too, and that they showed all of that, like that stress and stuff
Mm-hmm.
and her like panic attacks and stuff surrounding that when her friends ask her about it. I appreciated that because I understood that a lot.
Yeah. Well, and that's something too that really adds to the series too that can help with like understanding those like feelings and emotions and stuff is with those little bits of those animated elements that we mentioned earlier, like the way that they can really enhance those scenes and you really can tell like more of what's going on with the characters because, TV shows are a visual medium, so it's a good way to express those feelings that can be hard to explain to other people in real life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Another thing that we see too is that we also get to see in the show. I think we're going to see more of our characters specifically in the show grow in the next segment potentially is that Charlie's sister Tori She is such
Oh,
a
we love
quirky
Tori.
character.
She's such a weirdo, but we love Tori.
Yes.
Tori is like one of Charlie's very first like supporters.
Mhm.
She's his big sister, but she's also like, she's got her own stuff going on,
Yes.
you know, which, you know, in the books, you know, she has several
Of her own.
books all to
Mhm.
all to herself, which have you read any of the side books?
No, I haven't.
Me neither. Just so the audience knows. There's the graphic novels of Heartstopper, but then there are like side books, like novellas, like little bitty
Mhm.
things. There's like Solitaire and Nick and Charlie, This Winter, Radio Silence. There's a bunch of little separate things. Loveless, which is the most recent one, that cover like different time periods or different characters and stuff like that. But the wonderful thing is that they've all been worked into the show. A lot of it, anyway, has been worked into the show. In fact, the novella Nick and Charlie, where Nick and Charlie was introduced initially, that's the ending.
Yes.
Which is crazy because Heartstopper is nothing but a prequel to the Nick and Charlie novella.
Which is wild.
So people who are like, I want to know how this ends, well, go read Nick and Charlie. That's how it ends.
Yeah. Well, and what's so interesting about the show, too, is that it's cool that the creator of this whole, like, web series, web comics and stuff, is Alice Osman, who also is heavily involved in the creation of the show as well. So having, like, the original creator, like, helping to curate these stories into a TV show, and, like, it's really great when you have that creative involvement instead of somebody else coming in. You don't know how else things are going to be interpreted and stuff. And that with this TV show right now, there are 3 seasons, and Netflix just announced that they are going to wrap it up in a movie, which the movie will be coming out maybe next year, maybe not. We don't have a specifics because they're going to start filming it this summer. So we will be coming to a conclusion with Nick and Charlie and his friends' stories soon.
I know this movie will be on Netflix, like, obviously. But could you imagine if they put it in the theater?
That would be
even if it was just like a special presentation, like, you know, one night only.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I'd give all the money for that.
Yeah. Oh man. But another thing with the show too is that because it's a show and we've already said, like, we see Nick and Charlie and his friends, we also see some of, like, the lives of some of the teachers and the parents. Don't really want to spend too much time on Charlie's parents. I guess they're working on themselves, growing a little bit, but just we need a special shout out for Nick's mom.
Nick, oh my God!
Yes.
And Olivia Colman is the angels of angels. I love her so much. And Nick's coming out scene with her, is, like, always, like, my favorite scene. I can watch it every single day and cry every single time. It's just...
When I first watched it, I was so nervous because I was like, Olivia Colman, you better be a great mom. You better be a good mom.
Don't you mess this up.
Don't you dare mess this up for us. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I agree. It's such a beautiful scene. I also think it's so funny because in the 3rd season, there was definitely some scheduling issues because Olivia Colman didn't appear, but we got another wonderful person to appear.
Yes, we did.
As Nick's aunt, Haley Atwell.
Hell yeah, we did. Oh my God.
She continued those wonderful, like, sweet, great advice listening vibes.
Can they both be in the movie?
Please.
They both deserve to be in that movie.
Yes, they do. I will be upset if they're not, because I was just like, I don't know, that was just so perfect and beautiful, and I love their characters.
Well, I'm so glad that when they were planning season 3 and Olivia Colman is like, well, I can't be in the season because I'm over here doing this, that, and the other. I was so afraid they were going to be like, oh, we'll just have to, like, we'll replace you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
no, you will not.
Don't you dare ruin this.
Yeah. So like, it's okay. We'll just, like, move her role over to Nick's aunt. And it's like, okay, well, that's better. That's okay. But she did say she'll be around for anything that comes after season 3. So, whew.
So, fingers crossed that we will get at least Olivia Colman, but that's fine. If we get Haley Atwell too, that'd be great.
The question is, are they going to bring Jonathan Bailey back? For all of, like, a minute and a half of the cameo that he made.
Yeah, I feel like that somehow was, like, really talked up, and I was like, oh.
I know. I was like, oh, he's going to be like a character. No, he's not. He's just a dude. He's just a dude, but
It's the dude for you to look at.
but it was also, well, yeah, I mean, duh. But it was also funny because, like, Charlie is like, oh, I'm really into him because he does all of these history things and I just love all that. And Nick's just like, oh my god, he's hot.
Yeah.
Like, well, I am Nick in this situation, so.
Oh, yes. Oh, man. Let's see. Any other notes about Heartstopper besides everybody should just go watch it on Netflix?
Everybody should go watch it on Netflix immediately, or wherever you watch stuff, because it's worth watching for everybody. I mean, there's just so much. A lot of the show is just like, what if the world was perfect, and everybody handled things the way that they should handle them? You know, I mean, not that there aren't some characters who's supposed to be like a butthole, you know?
It makes the show a little more grounded.
It does. Like
it's life,
there's negative aspects of life, and you have to learn to deal with them. But then you see like appropriate handlings of those negative aspects, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Especially with like Nick's brother,
Mm.
Nick's big brother, when he comes back and finds out about Nick and Charlie, and it's this whole big thing every time. Like he's on screen, I just want to like punch him in the face. Yeah. Which, you know, that's how you're supposed to react to David. But like Tori and David, oh my god.
Yes.
She's like, I will stab you with a fork.
Yeah. I might have cheered out loud at that. I'm not really quite sure, but it was definitely the moment where I was like, you go, Tori.
For sure.
Wonderful sister. Mm-hmm.
For sure. But also cute dogs and milkshakes that you really want to drink real bad.
Oh, that's fair, yes.
And, you know,
arcades you want to go to.
Arcades you want to go to. A bowling alley that doesn't look like it's for meth addicts. You know,
school trips, you know.
School trips to freaking, like, where did they go? France?
Paris, yeah.
Yeah, like, okay. I mean, also, it's Europe. It's right there.
So it's, you know, it's just a quick little trip over there.
There are so many things, like, again, any single person can find something to take out of Heartstopper, whether they're queer or whether they're not. Because Heartstopper isn't just about queer love, it's about love.
Self-love,
the warm fuzzies, you know, just, it's there for everybody, and everybody in middle school should have to watch Heartstopper. Start to gain some empathy, people. That's what it is. That's what it is. Anything else?
Nope, I think that's a good way to end that.
All right. Well, we really hope that you liked our episode. Hopefully we didn't miss anything too crucial. If not, shout at us in the comments somewhere. Wherever you're following us, tell us on there too. We are literally anywhere and everywhere that you could hope to be. So give us a follow at Pod Demastered. Any last notes, Chelsea?
Nope. Thanks for listening, and we hope you tune in to our next episode.
There we go. We'll see you later, folks.
See ya.